today. There's just a few nuggets, and we'll see. You'll get some information. And in the meantime, it'll just be a test for audio and, maybe for entertainment. See what happens. Hi, everybody. This is a test here on Black Spring, and it is a Sunday night, and it's not going to be a very long test. But as I did say on the opening, I'm going to try to get into a few things, even though this is a test. Hopefully, it'll be a successful test so that you can get some information. But I'm going to run my regular patron thanks, and I'll start with I'll start with a couple of topics, and I'll tell you what we're talking about on this test slash. We're just kind of we're hanging out slash test, but there's information and involved as well. So I'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I will say hello to the first person in today, which is Nick Smith. How are you, Nick Smith? Thank you for coming in on the test. But the tests are always there. They might be sound checks to me, but there's always like some nuggets of information in there. So thank you for coming in on this test. Thank you so much for tuning in. So a couple of things on my mind, and I think there are a couple of things underway, of course, across the nation. We've been talking about quite a few things this week. We've been talking about the Build Back Better, the infrastructure bill. Of course, we've been talking about mocktail mandates, and I'm going to be trying to show you some of those clips out of New York. Things are getting a little bit, dare I say, for lack of a better word, a little bit spicy in New York. And looks like there are, they've got some people kind of leading. It looks like what I want to call the Big Apple is kind of on a revolt right now. And there is a content creator, and I think her name is Josie. So I'll show you that. I'll show you, there's a protest that I'd like to show you. So that's also why this is a test. So if it doesn't go well, then it's okay. But then also we'll have a look at, looks like the LGB, Let's Go Brandon. It looks like that is picking up quite a bit of traction, but it looks like to me there is, dare I say, we might have a double header here or I have a sense that there may be a little bit of dissension in the ranks, for the lack of a better word, because iTunes, and that's going to be amongst, I think, the top two, or top three, but we'll see. It looks like the artist Lodsa, looks like he's planning to drop the full version, and I'm thinking in that particular niche or that area, there might be. I would hope this wouldn't be something that's going to brew, but I also heard Lodsa's. I heard his comments about the person who's sitting at number one right now. So we'll get into that a little bit of, dare I say, I don't want to call it gossip, but it's kind of current events that we're doing a test on. I don't have a feel good story for you today, but I don't know, maybe we'll do more of that. So I don't know, maybe you guys can in the future reach out with send me your feel good stories if you have one in these times. So all right, we're gonna start first with I'm gonna bring that clip to you out of Big Apple and let you see what's happening there. And it's also in support of someone else that you've heard in the news. I think it's Kyrie Irving. Looks like he's got some support from the people in New York, and things are getting a little bit, well, I'll let you see for yourself. And then we're also going to go back to, I've talked quite a bit about AI, and hopefully you can handle it, but I'm going to go into an article on that, on our test. And the particular article will talk about the impact of artificial intelligence on human rights. So we talked about that there may be, that the subcabinetry of this regime or / administration and their science and technology department coming up with an AI Bill of Rights. But this article is speaking to me some similar things, but we've kind of talked about trust, and I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but we'll go into that. But I want to go to the protest, and then I can show you some of something that might be brewing. I don't know. I don't want to speak, as they say, I don't want to speak those vibes into existence, or I don't want to create, I don't want to be a part of any tension, but I can see that there's, dare I say, there's a little bit of salt when people start climbing the charts, or dare I say that somebody has material, with the same name, maybe just a different flavor. So we'll get into that. But I want to say hello to Miss Latin Patriot. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. So let's see if we can pull this off from New York. I want to share that with you guys, and I will do just that on this test. So if it doesn't go well, that was the goal, was to share it with you guys. So let's see what we can do here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So if you guys have any, I think by now most of you are aware of the LGB, dare I say LGBT. Let's go Brandon Tune. But yeah, so let me know if you have any other information, or have any of you purchased that actual track. I know that the full version, he's saying that it's going to be released this week. So we'll see what that looks like. Okay. Let's see. So let's see if we can get this going here. Okay. So I'm going to try to play this one, and I'll give you the full screen. It's about 40 seconds, spirited 40 seconds, and then I will zoom in. Okay, I want to pause this just for a second. This actually took place at the Barclays I guess I guess this is an area or near Barclays, and they are in support of Kyrie Irving being able to play because we've started to hear from these other NBA players, and of course, I think one of the most staggering people that we heard from was Magic Johnson, and I think a lot of people are outraged because they were thinking, okay, we're not necessarily comparing HIV, which is a contractable virus. We're not necessarily comparing the types of viruses, but we're saying that he was, basically, excreting bodily fluids on a court with different guys. And I think some people wanting to make the case based on, he was allowed to play, and they want Kyrie Irving to be able to play, and which I'm aware that every state and has their own mandates, but I think people are getting frustrated. And I think New York's had quite a few protests from the post office and beyond. So I'm going to play that one more time. So I thank you guys so much for tuning in on the test, and I am happy that it is actually playing for you guys. So we'll go right back into that one. Thanks so much for tuning in. And this is here again. I want to get this right. I do believe that this is out of I think this is, I know it's near the arena. So let's just play it again. Okay, so there you go. You have people in the people of New York are biting back on this situation, and I honestly, I think things are going to get, unfortunately, I think things are going to get out of control. I think we're really at a temperature that will go beyond civil disobedience. Because honestly, all it takes is one person to, somebody in the crowd, or dare I say, I don't want to say that, somebody infiltrating the other side, or, and then things could go, could get out of control. And I'm actually going to put a link out here for you guys if you're interested in chiming in on anything related to this test. And of course, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And for those of you that have been picking up the phone and calling in, that's more than I expect. But I appreciate you guys for doing that. I really do. And I'm going to run another infomercial, and I will be right back. We're going to go to another artist, which is it's Bryson Gray, and he also has his own version of "Let's Go Brandon." But I have heard Lotsa Alexander say that he was the first one to release "Let's Go Brandon," and it looks like he's kind of got on his own learning curve about how the business works. But it looks like Adele she was number one prior to, I guess, today. And so she's number two, and "Let's Go Brandon" by Lotsa Alexander is now number 3. But he is anticipating dropping the full version of the "Let's Go Brandon," and I think he's going to do it this week. He mentioned that he was, but dare I say, do they still say he's blowing up right now? So billboards, I guess, are contacting him. I mean, he did a live stream today. So, okay, Miss Land Patriot, I'm glad you said that. So I'll play it again. But what I think they're saying, for one, let Kyrie play is what they're saying. And the other one is, I heard a wake up, New York, wake up, New York. I heard that following that, and then from there, I think it kind of turned into we want Kyrie. That kind of the chant turns quite a bit. Joseph Francis Burton says Adele released a version of "Let's Go Brandon." No, no, no. That would be hilarious, but no. I'm not sure what her tune is, but yeah. But she released something. Um, she released something, and I'm not sure how long it held on at the number one spot. But that's one thing that Lotsa Alexander was saying on his own live stream. He was saying about how quickly you can be number one and how quickly, you can fall. So I think he was saying that if all of his, streaming of the actual, in terms of numbers, were actually counted, that he would have actually, surpassed Adele, and he would have been number one. But I think he might, he talked about timing in this industry, and he was saying he's going to release the full version, which I'm actually interested in hearing. So yeah. And Joseph Francis Burton says, "Oh wait, I get it." And John Roberts says, "The more Let's Go Brandon songs, the better." Yeah, I am in no way advocating for less. I do advocate for originality, is what I do, but in no way would I say, "Oh, let's not have, three, let's not have, many versions of this tune," or, it could be, I mean, if you had a reggae, I don't mind having a reggae version of "Let's Go Brandon," or dare I say, I think I may have even heard a country song, or a bluegrass version of Let's Go Brandon. So I don't know, but by the way, while we're on this topic, I've started to see, I'm probably 11th hour, but I've seen the hashtag Let's Go Brandon challenge. So you can put whatever spin or whatever improvisation or creativity you want on this thing, but how you're going to fall on iTunes, I don't know. I can't, I can't. I think it's all fun. It's fun. And if somebody can have some success, great. Is it going to, to me, it just keeps amplifying. It's amplifying censorship and the freedom of speech that we're losing. It's what it's doing. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I just think that something else has to, something else has to happen, I guess. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah. But, I think historically it's fair to say that most people have either their response to whether it's injustices or, lack of freedom or, dare I say iniquities, have been, in the form of music. So, and that's Leonard Bernstein has his own quote, a very specific quote, but that's historically been done. And lucky, we're not quite, Russia, but even composers were, they became composers of the state, and they had to, it has to be the music for the people, and they told you what that looked like, what those parameters were. So I'm not sure how far we are off from that, but yeah. So we'll keep going. I'm gonna get a couple of comments here, but I don't know. I think I hear many things. When I listen to that tune. I think it's got a lot of energy, and there's a lot of energy in the beats in the background. But I think you probably could extract 2 or 3 other chants, like a 4-letter word, like not Biden, but you could probably, you guys have heard the tune. I'm not going to do a rendition here, and I'm not going to quite do a challenge, a Let's Go Brandon challenge. What would I do? Like We'll see. We'll see. So they get a couple of comments in here before we go to the stats, to a couple of the stats here. Luciano says fans stop going to the games always changes the minds of the owners / leagues. And Joseph Francis Burton says, I'm in favor of mockery and ridicule. Humor and satire is a great weapon. And it also it releases it kind of releases some of the tension, right? That we all have some level of at some point, not everybody, but maybe it's a tune that makes you get some endorphins or something going when you hear this tune. I don't know. Some people say it makes me want to dance, and so I don't know. I guess it means different things for different people. But let's keep going here. Joseph Francis Burton also says, I'm just in it for the cheap. Yeah. Well, and Miss Latin Patriot says, yeah, these folks that keep going to the sports events are sellouts. Well, I think they've got some momentum in New York. I mean, I think a lot of people are happy to see it, but I think people would have wanted to see it a lot sooner, and that it's at the point in which we are now, they've been controlled by the media and other emotives, so we'll see. And from Joseph Francis Burton, he says, I honestly don't think I have heard the official Let's Go Brandon song. Well, you know what? I would play it on here. I don't know if I would play it on here because they might try to, I think I've seen some posts where they're actually trying to ban. They banned. Let me take a quick break, Joseph Francis Burton, because now you're getting on to you're segueing me in very nicely to the next point. So I'm going to take a quick break and we'll be right back, and we'll get on to the versions here. We'll see what happens. Be right back. All right, who do we have right now? We have Mad Militant, who issues a very warm warning, and he says, "Don't play it. They struck my channel already to House of Madness." I got it. I'm not gonna play it. But yeah, it's still on his channel. And yeah, I mean. Yeah, it's still on his channel, so if you haven't heard it, you might want to get on there, or either, I don't know how much of a grip these people have on iTunes, but they really don't want to, they really don't want the energy to spread, because there's a lot, as I said earlier, there's a lot of energy in that tune, and I think people are uniting. He's actually uniting the country in a very, dare I say, maybe it's unconventional, maybe not in the way that he intended it. Of course not. So yeah, we'll keep going. We got some more comments here. And Joseph Francis Burton says, "Oh no, you don't have to play it. No, no, no. I mean, I would like to. I would like to, but I can't. I mean, I'm not even saying if I could. I'm not sure if I would play it, but yeah, you guys should enjoy that on your own time, because I think it's a very. I'm sure it has very it has a very personal meaning and different meanings to everybody. So you should enjoy that on your own. And Mad Militant said, for misinformation in the song, really? And they're holding you responsible for, okay. I don't think there's any misinformation in there. I don't think so. But it's also, as they say, it's art, right? So for the purposes of art, it's his interpretation. So, let's go in the spectrum of nuance. That's what they love to do. Matt Militant says YouTube banned it, but it's on other platforms. Yeah, some of those other platforms, I think even TikTok. I guess that means you can't do the TikTok. You can't do the Let's Go Brandon challenge either. I guess maybe you can do it over on TikTok. And Joseph Francis Burton says, I prefer old Waylon and Willie anyway. We need some good old outlaw rebel Corona country. All right, so let's go. So we're going to stay in the same vein. I just want to show you Bryson Gray, if you guys are not familiar with these guys. And I don't do reaction videos. So this is as close as a reaction video as you're going to get on Black Spring. So I'm going to get out of that one, and thank you guys again. And then we'll go over to Bryson Gray. We'll take a look at the charts for him, and yeah, a little bit more context there. All right. So let me back up here just a smidge. Okay. So what you see in front of you right now is actually, I was trying to give you the chart. So this is from Bryson Gray's Twitter account, I assume. And he's another, I think he was more of a, well, I know he's a conservative, and I'm not sure if he's considered hip hop conservative or hip hop Christian, or I don't want to get it wrong, but I think there's going to be a lot of, dare I say, competitors in this Let's Go Brandon thing, because everybody's, dare I say, is there enough room for is there enough shine? There's enough shine for everybody, right? No need for bitter, jealousy, envy, right? Okay, so I'm going to read this. It says, we did it from banned on YouTube to passing Adele on the iTunes charts to become the #1 song in the country. Stop being afraid of censorship. Stop being afraid to be canceled. Stand up. Thank y'all so much. Keep it going. Now, that's from a real Bryson Gray on Twitter. And Bryson he's got some fun tunes. Even before this whole Let's Go Brandon deal. So, but yeah, I might go back into Lotz's a little bit on his live stream from earlier today. So you might get some other context there, but he had something to say about, this, and just overall, I don't think he's bitter, or I think he's confident in what he's doing, but, we'll see what happens. So according to this is, the screenshot that was provided here, songs. So you can see here, Let's Go Brandon featuring Tyson James and Chandler Crump. See, I haven't heard, I think maybe I started listening to this, but it's a different style. It's a different style altogether, or a different genre, or however you want to spin it. But this is him at number 1. And as you can see, Adele has, dare I say, she sank to number 2 with Easy on Me. For those of you not Let's Go Brandon, but Easy on Me. And then you have Lotsa at Let's Go Brandon at number 3. But the thing is that Lotsa himself says, well, I was the first one to do the Let's Go Brandon. So, you know what I mean? Kind of get that little sting in there. Okay, so here we go. John Roberts says, no Brandon envy allowed. Miss Latin Patriot gives us a YouTube channel. So she also informed me that Miss Latin Patriot says his song is still on YouTube. So she says, yeehaw, yeehaw. So get on over to Lotsa Alexander. I think it's spelled Loza, and Alexander, and you'll see, you'll see it for yourself. And then you might even catch, I think his live stream from earlier today may be up. So I'm interested to see what the entire composition sounds like, because I think the first verse was pretty, it was pretty intense, pretty good, right? And yes, but I guess if you play it, you get it. I don't know. Is it a strike that they give you, Mad Militant? Mad Militant says YouTube banned it, but it's on other platforms. So yeah, so that's what you have there. But yeah, enjoy that. Have fun with that. However, whatever works for you. It's a fun tune. It's, some people describe it as like a club song or club banger song. Use it, put it wherever you want it to be. However, make it work for you and see where it takes you. Okay, so I'm going to switch the gears now. We're going to switch the gears and go to an actual liner. I had to take you guys out of the fun for just a little bit. We're going to go back to AI, and we're going to have a quick little look at the human rights. They're so concerned about your human rights being violated by something like AI. Can you imagine? So I'm going to go ahead and clear the air here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to share that with you. Thank you guys so much for coming in on the test. I appreciate it. Because sometimes things don't quite come across, even if they're coming across over here. And, sometimes we have some of the best streams off of, just the test. So thank you for joining me on today's. I appreciate it. All right. So I'm going to give you the full screen here. And there is a link out there, just FYI. And really, honestly, this is also kind of in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about the Blog Talk Radio, and to see how you guys might, I might pilot test that and see, if you guys enjoy calling in. As you never know what happens on YouTube with the amount of banning that they're doing. It's affecting people's content. Okay, so here we are on the tdwi.org, and we're switching gears and going back to the impact of artificial intelligence on human rights. And we had some interesting calls the other night on what you guys thought about AI. And I don't know, what is your business doing to incorporate? Is your employer incorporating AI? What kind of data are they collecting? Do you guys think this is just a free for all at this point? They're going to just collect anything you say can be collected for the use of the AI. Hold on. I got a comment here right before I go into that from Joseph Francis Burton, who says, I feel so bad for the real Brandon. Trained and worked his whole life to be a NASCAR champion just to wind up a cheap internet meal. Yeah, it did kind of steal his shine, right? I don't know. That's kind of intense. That's kind of deep, Joseph Francis Burton. Yeah, I would think that did kind of was not really about him. It's just, I don't know. I it just seems like all of our bread bowls and pastimes and entertainment has taken a turn for the, mm, it's still fun, but we have to get the most out of it, right? We have to get the most out of it. So I'm going to keep going here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And according to this, the impact of artificial intelligence on human rights. Adopting AI can affect not just your workers, but how you deal with privacy and discrimination issues. This is a penman under Ben Hartwig. Okay, so this is a little bit older, but I'm kind of curious how it stacks up to what they are proposing in this current administration's Technology and Science Department of the White House on their Bill of Rights for AI. Okay, it says here, as humans become more reliant on machines to make processes more efficient and inform their decisions, the potential for a conflict between artificial intelligence and human rights has emerged. If left unchecked, who's going to check them? I digress. Artificial intelligence can create inequality and can even be used to actively deny human rights across the globe. However, if used optimally, AI can enhance human rights, increase shared prosperity, and create a better future for us all. So let me just interject here just a second. So if there's a genuine concern about AI and it being unchecked and the possibilities or the pitfalls and the cons and all, what do they think about Sophia and the roles that she has? I mean, I would think that who's going to check her? Would she already, she's serving on panels and she's teaching classes, I think. I'll double check that. I mean, and I ask you guys point blank, do you think that these robots will eventually be able to are we replacing our Congress? Are we going to eventually replace the government with AI? I mean, can a Sophia type or an Android entourage be expected to rise to that kind of power? I mean, and we talked about how they're in violation of the Bill of Rights for human beings. So why would anybody trust you to craft another set of guidelines or expect you to protect us on another level when it comes to AI? I digress. You guys can put your comments in the section here. It is ultimately up to businesses to carefully consider the opportunities new technologies provide and how they can best leverage these opportunities while being conscious of the impact on human rights. Here are some of the possible consequences of adopting artificial intelligence and factors you may want to consider. Job replacement. AI often replaces the role of humans. Technology makes processes more efficient by allowing a machine to take over some of the manual and low-level tasks that humans once controlled, such as assembly line work. It is estimated that 47% of jobs at high risk of automation may be taken over by machines by 2030. That's a magic number, 2030. However, new technology is even replacing some higher order tasks, such as driving or filling prescription orders. The use of AI could ultimately result in mass job losses and greater income disparity. However, automation does not need to have a net negative effect. It can often lead to an overall positive effect on the workforce by creating economic growth and reducing prices. Business leaders can then transition their workforce to new jobs that require higher level thinking and soft skills, such as interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence. Now, where have we heard that term? See, it's like now we're starting to wrap some things together. Things are kind of coming together. We talked about Moxie, the robot that may be introduced to your kid. They talk about soft skills there. So soft skills, they're including that. They're mentioning that under interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence. It's a pretty big responsibility, right? Soft skills, even for kids. I digress. Lack of privacy. AI gathers massive amounts of information, including streams of data from mobile devices and other electronics, and extrapolates from it so that professionals can make data-driven decisions based on unique insights. When companies have such massive amounts of information about their existing clientele, potential customers, and competitors, the collective's right to privacy may be threatened, especially as AI evolves and new ways to use personal information are discovered. Companies that want to avoid compromising privacy should put additional safeguards in place, such as data anonymization techniques or actively screening algorithms for privacy issues. Discrimination against job seekers and customers. AI may result in discrimination outcomes when algorithms are applied to hiring and firing decisions. Hiring practices may violate federal or state discrimination laws, especially if the training data is based on a homogeneous group. For example, if a company gathers information based on public records, companies should avoid assuming information about potential candidates, personalities, or skills based solely on this information. A human evaluation in conjunction with the results derived from AI can more accurately determine whether a candidate matches the business's vision. Total reliance on AI can have disastrous effects on businesses. For example, some AI programs that use facial recognition for theft protection may discriminate against shoppers of certain races or ethnicities. Although the GDPR requires the AI user to explain how the algorithm works and affects the final decision, the CCPA does not currently require this extra layer of protection for consumers. To insulate themselves from potential claims of discrimination caused by total reliance on AI, companies may wish to have a human verify any results before taking action. It seems like we had Rashida Tlaib made a comment about facial recognition. I think when that came up, like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And that got a little bit heated. So almost to the end here. So freedom of expression. One particular human rights concern regarding AI is the possibility that whole groups may become silenced due to the use of AI. Social media platforms use algorithms that decide which viewpoints will receive traction online. In one Facebook experiment, researchers were able to manipulate the messaging that users received, which resulted in them perceiving the world in a specific way. Hey, that might also, you can think about that in politics too, right? Like if you repress or suppress people that don't vote for you can have the same kind of thing. I think they've kind of shot themselves in the foot in many ways. However, I'll keep going here. In some cases, AI is being used by computer assisted writing software that prepares news stories and other content, so a human may not even be involved in the dissemination of information. If public opinion values objective journalism, companies may prioritize maintaining a balance between freedom of expression and the desire for more efficient information systems. Likewise, social media channels may want to maintain a public persona of inclusivity and diversity by being careful not to restrict minority viewpoints or the freedom of expression. See, to me, all of this they've already been violated. They've violated human rights is what this hindsight, this basically, they kind of spoke this out. They always kind of preview, they tell you what's going to happen. So basically they violated all of these human rights already, including Facebook, including YouTube. They're already, suppressing objective journalism. They're already, suppressing the medical community that's not, a part of the mainstream narrative. So, I'll keep going. Last part here, a framework for the fusion of AI and human rights. Most human rights advocates who focus on the issue recommend conducting an assessment of how AI may impact human rights and argue that corporations play an instrumental part in maintaining these rights. Businesses that want to instill confidence in consumers often do so by appearing transparent and innovative. By embracing technology and being clear about how it helps the business to make decisions, businesses can often appeal to a larger group of consumers and retain their existing clientele. Additionally, companies that use AI should consider providing additional safeguards to mitigate the potential risk of discrimination. To avoid claims regarding the sale or misuse of personal information, companies can take additional steps to protect the privacy of their users. By being conscious of the risk to human rights, you can use AI to better your business, promote growth, and improve customer interaction while avoiding some of the consequences that may result from the implementation of AI. So to me, 2020 election comes to mind. Is to me this whole thing, if you think about that, if you think about the mandates, if you think about, just the whole 20, hindsight, 2020, this reflects that to me. So yeah, once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn on the test. And who else do I have here? Joseph Francis Burton, thank you so much for tuning in. And Miss Latin Patriot says, yeah, they want to be able to put you in jail for inappropriate Google searches and anything Siri heard you say. Shout out to Old Head Deuce, who told us last night that he was unable to turn off. You're able to turn off your AI, or maybe just power it off, or I don't know, power it down if you have a conversation. All right. So Joseph Francis Burton says, gotta go all movie night with Mrs. Burton. Well, have fun. Thanks so much for coming in. I appreciate it. And thank you for your support. Thank you very much. And Miss Latin Patriot says, recently, I wasn't even touching my iPad and it was off, and heard my conversation and did a random search for me when I was having a phone conversation. Siri is definitely spying on all. Wow. Well, it's funny. It's funny how I ended up purchasing an item today, like in store. Wasn't even looking online. And all of a sudden I open up something on the phone and they start showing the same item that I was looking for. They started showing handbags. And I'm like, well, I didn't even call anybody to talk about my handbag. Or maybe I called somebody yesterday and I mentioned it. And I'm not even sure if she's activated. Let's just see right now. Okay. Well, I think it's activated. Even when you think it's not, I think you have a point there. But I don't have any other autonomous devices. Like, what is it? The DJ Vision Barnett, shout out to you. He mentioned the Alexa. I don't have any of that, or any of the Google Assistants or the Google Home consoles. I don't have any of that. But, some people do. Some people, are comfortable with that. Hello, Derek C. Williams. Thank you so much for coming in. And Derek C. Williams comes in with Ray Kurzweil is quite confident of, quote, singularity, end quote, by 2045. Good luck. Thank you so much for tuning in, Derek C. Williams. I appreciate it. And thank you for joining us from where you are. And he also says it would be wise to not have these devices in your proximity or placing them under a pillow. Derek does both. You never know. Yeah, you're right. You can't, I don't know, be careful what you say. Yeah, you have to be really careful what you say. And Derek C. Williams says, isn't it funny how folks have these things? I would say to not have them. Yeah, do you guys remember, I can't even say, it's probably not fair for me to say, do you guys remember the device, was it as seen on TV, the clapper? Would you guys consider the clapper where you clapped and the light went off or went on? Would you say that we were at that point you could consider that, autonomous? Or I don't know how that was, I don't know what data they were using to, did they somehow record someone clapping and then that's how that was activated? I have no idea. Just saying, just saying. But I want to thank you guys, as always, for tuning in on the test. And, Derek C. Williams says, we enslave ourselves. Think about it. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down there. It just seems that we kind of just keep kind of wrapping ourselves into, you know, we just keep wrapping ourselves into the trap, dare I say, for lack of a better word. Maybe not the trap, but people are in awe of robots or androids, and that's it. But I did talk about just briefly, and I didn't get into it because like I said, I've kind of gotten into quite a bit on AI in the past. But I do have one other thing to show you guys. Now we've talked about Jacinda. We've talked about the Prime Minister of. We talked about the Prime Minister of New Zealand. I almost missed this. I'm glad I didn't miss it. And I'm going to try to share this with you. So according to this, I'm switching gears. I don't mean to be too manic here, but I'm going to switch gears. This is my last bite. We have a statement from the Prime Minister of New Zealand, basically admitting of basically two societies. And she's got this big smile on her face, and she's right on it. So let me share that clip with you, and then I'm gonna say salute and get you guys on your way on this Sunday night. Some of you have to go to work. Some people have to go to work tomorrow. And if you're not, then enjoy your time off or enjoy your Monday off. But we're going to go to this next clip. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. So I'll give you a little bit of context on this next. It's basically come from a Twitter. It's a Twitter file that I have to share with you right now. The disclose.tv on Twitter. I think disclose is pretty juicy, for the lack of a better word. So I'm going to give you a full screen on this. And okay, so give me a 5x5 or 1 if you can hear it. If you can't, let me know. Okay, so I want to make sure. So, okay, here we go.
So you basically said this is going to be like, well, it's almost like, you probably don't see it like this, the two different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated.
That is what it is. So, yep.
Can you describe that you were previously hoping not to have to do that, I guess, when we still looked like we could maintain elimination across the whole country? I guess that has now changed because...
I think it was less because necessarily of the elimination determining that, and more because we, of course, maintained, and actually we have managed very high vaccination rates generally without the use of certificates. But actually what it's become clear to me is that they're not just a tool to drive up vaccines. They're a tool for confidence. People who have been vaccinated will want to know that they're around other vaccinated people. They want to know that they're in a safe environment. It is a way that we can give confidence to those who are going back into hospitality or events. And so that is something that I think we should offer to people who have been vaccinated, that confidence that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe and that they can come back out and start enjoying those things safely.
All right. Any surprise there for you guys? Any surprise there for you guys? No, I remember not too long ago, I actually did a stream in which, she was fining people back in 2020 for their mask if they were not wearing, if they were caught in transit, in public transportation, without their mask. And of course, she was, kind of lauded for making her own mask. And so I remember I did an entire video on that. So for those of you that are kind of new around here, anytime I make a reference to something, it's usually something that I have covered on here, or I try to cover it. Yeah. So, but this is New Zealand, New Zealand, Australia, everybody's doing something different. And, these people have no shame. They are happy in their elitism, and, it's like they just want to crush everybody, and they're making you comply is what they're doing. So let me just read a comment from Derek C. Williams. Derek C. Williams says, Jacinda Ardern the devil. And Very strong, very strong. I can see what I see what you're putting down there. And Derek C. Williams says, hopefully she was fool enough to get jabbed. ADE awaits. Yeah, so it never ends. And I think Angela Merkel even had, I think I even did, this was kind of a joint video that I did on Arden and Merkel and what they were doing, what they were putting in place at the time. So, what a difference a year makes, you go from being essential to canned, and just stay in your home. But I am going to take one quick infomercial break, and I'm going to come back and say salute to everyone. And thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate it. And we'll be right back. And continue to look out for the Discord information. It will be on the community tab. I'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, thank you so much. And it looks like we have You Stupid Foo in the house. How are you? And he says, I laugh because people think this stuff won't get worse in the US, just like NZ and Australia. Yeah, what did I learn? Not confirmation or confirmation, not confirmation. It's not that. It's not normalcy. Is it normalcy bias? Yeah, or something like that. They can't believe it. I mean, even if it's in front of them, it's really quite amazing. But I'm tracking. I'm tracking. And Miss Latin Patriot says, "Yep. All right, guys. So I'm going to go through and say salute to everyone, and thank you so much for coming out on the test. And I was glad I was able to share that protest with you out of New York. But I do think things are getting a little bit spicier in New York. But yeah, that's where they are. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right. So I'll start from the top and say thank you so much, Nick Smith, for coming in. I appreciate it. Have a great night. Miss Latin Patriot, thank you for coming in and for sharing with us. Keeping things interesting. Luciano gave us a big no on mocktails at the opening here. And Joseph Francis Burton, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Mad Militant gave me that fun warning not to share the LGBT. That's the Let's Go Brandon tune. But we're going to watch. I'm going to watch that. I'm going to see what happens with the charts and see if Bryson Gray will remain at numero uno, or if Lotsa's Let's Go Brandon, that was at number 3, will flip the standing there. And John Roberts, thank you so much for coming in. So we'll stay tuned for that. I don't do reaction videos, but it's really too bad for the lack of a better word, for my YouTube career that I've never done a reaction video. So this is as close as you'll get to reaction video, what I've shared with you this evening, but we'll keep an eye on the standings either between iTunes and then maybe we'll check out Billboard as well. All right. And Derek C. Williams joined us. Thank you so much. Never late for the party. You cannot be late around here. You can never be late for the test. Never. All right. And we did have You Stupid Food to join us. So if I did miss anybody, I apologize, but I don't think I did. Mad Militant, Luciano, John Roberts. Yeah, and you know what? Shout out to you, Miss Latin Patriot. I love the work that you're doing. I saw your post on one of your reports, and very good work. I think you were in a Walmart, maybe. So yeah, keep up the good work over there. I enjoyed that. So I'll be coming around more often. And I wasn't subscribed to your page. Oops, I'm not supposed to say that. So when we think about what words or whatnot, we've kind of been groomed or accustomed to doing what the overlords say. We're not supposed to say that word subscribed, but I did. And I enjoyed the work that you're doing there. So keep it up. And let us know if you're doing live streams. That goes for anyone. If you guys want me to share a live stream on the community tab, just send it to me via email. If you guys get any other information or if you have any AI sightings or, Android family sightings, let me know. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday and have a great start of your week.